this is my friend Dawn Hehr has a website, The Intuitive Healer, and she has been doing readings for people. We've been friends for a long time in terms of full disclosure, so we know each other quite well. But what we're going to do is an example of the kinds of readings she does for others, and record this one. So if you're interested in Dawn's services in terms of readings and answers to questions or what she basically sees on a personalized basis, this is a very good example of what she does. And we're both experimenting with video recording in this case, so we'll do our best.
Okay.
Dawn, take it away.
All right. So when I first start my readings, one of the things that I like to do is be in my breath in synchronicity with you. And so the first thing that we'll do is we'll inhale through the nose, we'll exhale out through the mouth 3 times. I'll drop into a little prayer, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's do our first full breath. Second breath. Third breath. Mother, Father, God, creator of all that is, we come to you today asking for guidance, asking for understanding, asking for beautiful messages. We ask that you come in and surround and protect us in a bubble of light and love so that we may be honored in this very present moment. And we thank you for being with us and being part of us. Blessed be, blessed be, blessed be. It is done, it is done, it is done. And so it is. All right, so the first thing that drops in for me, and this is a real strong energy that pops out right away, is something that's significant around sci-fi. And so it's showing me that there's a science fiction energy that's coming in really strongly with you when it comes to books. And so that's what's really interesting is that right now, I really feel like you're kind of maneuvering a lot of ideas around how to be a better writer or how to be a better initiator towards a story that was just scientifically created in the mind. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that's going to be one of the bigger avenues with you. I do see you going into a channel where you will be, well, discussing UFO videos for people and asking them questions about what they think that really is, and kind of inviting some type of platform to be able to talk to people around the extraterrestrial stuff, you know, fact versus fiction.
Right.
So I think that that's going to be like one of the bigger things that you come into play with your career. There is this little sense here of adventure within you right now that I'm really picking up on. And I think that it's just kind of redefining who you are from your childhood versus now with all of this new gained freedom that you're just about to step into. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like that's creating scenarios in your mind right now, different places that you want to go or places that you want to be, or, you know, initiating connections with people on your travels. And so I really feel that that's going to be the next step of your career is, you know, maybe having one of your blogs from the van, you know, or, ooh, we saw an extraterrestrial last night while we were camping in the van, you know, or something to that effect that's really creating a lot of curiosity around other people when it comes to things that they know nothing about, and really kind of setting up that platform to be able to open those conversations and have people be able to be really comfortable around it, or even quirky. I mean, it could be funny. You could say, wow, we just got this video in from this person and, you know, it looks like ET instead of a real extraterrestrial, what we think an extraterrestrial is, okay? And so I think that that's going to kind of come into play, and there's going to be some overshadow there with some real comical interactions with people based around, you know, all of the sci-fi talk. And so I do see you moving into your own channel, on a sci-fi channel, and really having your own platform to be able to talk to things that are outside the normal thinking, but within the civilized mind of just your everyday, you know, everyday Joe. So I think that that's going to be a really, really big thing for you moving forward. I'm also sensing that there's going to be some kind of, well, I do sense that there's like 4 different blogs that you're going to be a part of. So I'm not sure how many blogs you're doing right now, but I do see 4, and I see them being on very, very specific topics. So maybe one blog talking about computers, or another blog that's talking about extraterrestrials, or another blog that is just asking, you know, or talking about metaphysical or consciousness stuff.
Right.
Last one I do see, and you're gonna get really giddy here, and I'm gonna laugh a little bit, but I do see.
I don't get giddy, Dawn.
Vicariously through all of these interactions and all of this new platform situation that is coming through. So I do feel like there's love that's going to be intermingled, and it wouldn't surprise me if you showed up with your significant other to, like, you know, like a Star Trek thing, and you guys were all dolled out in your outfits. So that's what I really see. I see somebody just really being balanced, but also having that really sci-fi, quirky, you know, intrigued mind that you do as well. So,
well, you know, it's interesting you say that. I'm not, you know, I should probably not interject too much here, but the Philip K. Dick stuff has been fascinating to me. How, so for instance, you may have heard about flying taxis. You know, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, these places, for whatever reason, maybe they had too much money, and they have a lot of open space. And you may have read about these automatic flying taxis. You call it, you get in the darn thing, you tell it where you want to go. There's no driver. You know, it's all computerized. It's self-driving, and it takes you to a place, you know, a preset landing area they're allowed to go. Well, that's the world of Philip Dick, where not only are all the taxis flying and automatically controlled, but even more, they can give you life advice. They're actually kinder. You know, I may have told you one time that one time in my relationship with Angela, I was having some real troubles because there were issues. And the end of Philip K. Dick's Flow My Tears, the policeman said, no, now wait for last year, where the protagonist is wondering if he should stay with his wife, and he discusses it with the taxi's AI. And the taxi says, listens to a story and said, I would stay with her. And he goes, I think you're right, I will. And the taxi says to him, I could tell you're a good man. God bless you, sir. And I was like, oh, well, there's my answer. We're coming to that kind of world, though, now. I just find it fascinating. We're living in that world.
Well, and here's the other fascinating thing that I think about you when it comes to this technology world is like, gosh, what, we've known each other for maybe 10 years now. And, you know, I go, wow, because when I met you, that's what you were doing, is the super techie stuff. And you were helping people do computers and helping them identify problems and things like that. And I really rightfully feel it like that was already part of your plan. That was already part of, you know, you just didn't understand that we were going to go completely that direction. But boy, isn't it refreshing to know that you have all the dynamics to be able to support yourself in an income that is online.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I'm going to pull a couple cards just because I want to kind of get a little insight. And I'm pulling from a deck called the Sun Moon Tarot. And I like them because they're really earthy and show a lot of cute little quirky pictures. So One of the other things I want to speak about really quick with you is the fact that you're ending one sequence of your life and you're starting another sequence of your life. And so you're starting this new story. And I really feel like a lot right now of what is taking place in your mind is really trying to understand what that story is going to look like for the future and how you're going to maneuver relationships, you're going to maneuver your life, maybe take up a couple of hobbies that you left dormant in the past. I do feel like you're going to be doing one that's going to be off the side and make a little bit of money here and there. But I do see like 3 multiple streams of income, and that could very well be like a YouTube channel, some other blogging platform, and I also do see podcasts. Podcasts are going to be the bigger thing that's going to supply your income. And so just kind of setting up that platform and understanding that sometimes some people do want to hear what you have to say, Ralph. And so, me included in that. But all right, so yeah, so there's a lot of change. We got some change going on here. So
Okay.
it's instant. And so I really feel like right now you're at the precipice of that change, and you're starting to see over the other side, and you're kind of fighting for your individuality right now, wanting to not be tied to anything, but be tied to everything at the same time. So it's interesting. And then, we've got the strength card. So whatever you're doing, you're really strong in your energy around it. And so it's creating a lot of, it's creating a lot of connection to a higher self within you.
Okay.
So really, really tuning into your authentic truth, really tuning into, asking yourself questions like, oh, well, what does Ralph really want to do? Where is Ralph really at? And what are the things that you're going to do in order to have those experiences come in? And so right now, it's just a lot of planning. There's a lot of significant energy around you being very strong in your power. But this stuff's going to come in fast. So, the swiftness card comes in and lets us know that the energy is moving right now. That's why this other card of change came in and said, it's happening right now as we speak. And so like a lot of times it's not the future or the past, it's the present moment that we're only given. And so you could be formulating a plan in the very present moment in direction towards that action, towards the future. And so when you're being carried away by those thoughts, it's time to write them down and create, like an ending and a new beginning. So That's what this is signifying, is that there's change. There's a lot of thinking, maybe a little overthinking right now. Yeah. A little excessiveness with that, but it's just because you're ending one contract, one phase of your life, and you're starting a new story.
Right.
And so that you haven't liked the story that you've been in, but I think that maybe there's some dynamics that could really change around that and create a new version of Ralph. Okay. So, and because of that, is like in the past, there were some ideals that you really thought about, you really never put them into play. And I think that you kind of felt defeated because you had to make other choices instead of maybe doing something that was more like going to work and having fun versus paying the bills. And so this is an energy that you don't want to be in this place right now because you've been there. And, this is just saying that, like, I defeated myself, and this time around, I'm reinventing myself.
Well, like most parents, it was just a 25-year detour.
Sure. Yeah, well, and a lot of you redefining yourself was all around sorrow from the past. Let me get this a little bit closer so you can see this is really going back and rediscovering the things from the past and understanding that there was some of those things from the past that had to create sorrow in order for you to gain more awareness into who you are and what you value most. And
that
so
card, that could be me.
Sorrow I'm sorry, go
I said
ahead.
that card could have been me with my old afro if it had blonde hair. So
Oh, of course.
just letting you know.
That's great. So yeah, so there's a transition here. So a significant transition. It's going to, you know, when I say significant transition, I'm saying love, relationships, financial. There's a significance around that that's completely flipping. There's like a 90-degree turn that's happening here soon with you, Ralph.
Okay.
And because of that, you know, you call truest on the path. So it's being okay with what happened and being in the present moment with it, and being, well, I would say kind of igniting some fire and happiness within you, because what's going on in your head right now is a little exciting, because it puts you back into a different time and place that you were before. So your love for writing, your love for reading, all of those things are getting illuminated right now, because you're moving yourself into a different type of career, and it's taking education to get there. Not a lot of education, but enough to realize, hey, I better, you know, finely tune educating myself on maybe some type of program that you're going to need for a platform or something like that. So I do see that. I do see you buying a lot of equipment and setting up a studio in your home. And so it doesn't surprise me with you.
I have plans.
Okay. So I did pull a card for the future, and you know, and I asked within my mind, I'm asking questions, and then I pulled a card, you know, to signify that. And I really was asking, like, what's Ralph's future going to look like? And so that's what comes up, is the happiness card. So you're really pulling away a lot of the things in your life that didn't serve you in the past, and you're reinventing yourself. You're really reinventing yourself into a different version of who you are. And, you know, I really feel like in your life, you've morphed into dad, you've morphed into friend, you've morphed into brother, you've morphed into all these different things, but now you're seeing things in a different light, because now you're morphing into not being a full-time dad. You know, and so what does that look like? And inviting those questions for yourself, and really being clear about what that picture is going to look like for you, not setting expectations, because we know that setting expectations, it's never going to be planned out the way that we think. It's going to be planned out for us the way that it's intended for us. And so, you know, and trying to be in a neutral space with that, where that we can allow things to come and to be able to receive, instead of master manipulating and finally, you know, tuning all the details. It's good to have details, but it's also good to trust that all your due diligence, all your lessons that you've learned, all the things that you've learned about yourself and gain awareness and heal traumas within yourself, you're coming to a place of peace right now, Ralph. And that piece is just hugely exciting, because it's, you know, I say sometimes we like our solitude, and we create the best things in our isolation. And so I think that parts of this COVID thing has created some isolation for you to be able to articulate and plan some things really well. And so I think with you right now is just you're diligently planning for this really beautiful future that's about to happen to you. And, you know, the fact that you got the happiness card is like, woo, happiness. So you're doing something to apply that energy towards your life so that you move forward and you can see, you know, that life that you pictured.
I have been increasingly happy, Dawn.
Yeah, and I really feel that a lot of this energy is remembering Ralph before Ralph was a husband, a father, and recognizing that that person's still there. It's just you kind of tucked that person away and took care of business for a while, and now it's time to let that person come back and resurface.
Exactly so.
And that it's okay to do that,
Mhm.
you know?
Oh
Yeah.
no, I have no. There's no need to be. The path can change. It can go back. All right, as I said, there was a long detour, but it's odd.
Yeah.
I suddenly started going through papers, what have you. Oh, anyway, I don't want to interfere with the reading, but I have to say, I think you're exactly on the right track. There's no disagreement here.
Thank you. Thank you. And with that being said, as you upgrade yourself, as you come to terms with, wow, I actually have, a couple more hours in my day that I'm actually doing nothing. And wouldn't it be nice to read a book? Or wouldn't it be nice to post a blog? Or wouldn't it be nice to just do maybe a little 20-minute podcast about something controversial or something extraterrestrial? So, I think that that's going to be your next line of work. And, they have people out there that are paranormal chasers or like storm chasers. And I feel like you're going to be the paranormal story chaser for what's the next best story, right? Or even interjecting your own ideals around that, how you feel about that.
Right. Yes.
And just kind of giving a little viewpoint to people to kind of interject some ideas and strike up some conversations.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be really good.
That will
But
be.
I'm also sensing a couple more things that I don't think that you had planned. And there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to do this summer that are out of the ordinary of what you do in the summertime. And I'm feeling that energy quite a bit. And what's so funny around this is I don't know why I keep picturing you on a motorcycle, but it doesn't even seem like that would be part of who you are. But was that who you were when you were younger? Were you interested in motorcycles?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Then who in your family, what's the connection here with motorcycles that I'm getting?
I don't know, honestly.
Okay.
The only thing when I think of a motorcycle, I think of death.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we all, well, people call them murder cycles for a reason, right?
If I was ever going to get a motorcycle, it'd be one with 3 wheels so I couldn't fall over. I have admired those and thought about it. Wouldn't it be great to have one of those little camping things just a little pod that you tow with you, so you can just pull on over and camp at night.
Yeah, I totally see you doing something like that.
That's one of my, I've actually researched those things, so that could be in the future. I did talk to a gentleman who asked him what he thought about those who cycles all the time or motorcycles. I said, hey, what do you think of those 3-wheeled motorcycles? And he goes, Ralph, those aren't motorcycles. We feel sorry for those folks because they can't afford a 4th wheel.
Oh, what a great little selling point, right?
I said, well, okay. But no, that's what I would have. So no,
I do see you in something like that.
In this case, that'd be more of a metaphor, I think, for the idea of free spirit, of charting a course you haven't taken before and doing something that you typically wouldn't do.
Right. Well, and sometimes when we had that thought at some point in our lives, it comes full force and it's like, why did you have that thought? Let's recognize what within you is super attracted to that particular thing or to wanting a particular experience, So there is this energy here that I don't want to get off track with your career because there's exciting things happening here. But there is some stuff from the past that's surrounding relationships and love that really needs to be brought forth and talked about as far as like awareness. And what I'm seeing is that, there was some sadness because you feel, even though you were widowed, I feel like there was a part of you that felt like you had a failed marriage. And that really wasn't the case. Even though the energy's there, I think it was the circumstances of your situation that created that feeling. But I do see, you know, with that happiness card is like a victory in your life. So you have a lot of positivity, you have some doors opening for you. It wouldn't surprise me if somebody on a YouTube channel saw a couple of your things and wanted to strike up a conversation with you and said, hey, would you like to partner up and maybe create a commentary about whatever the topic may be? Does that sound like something that you would do?
Oh,
Because
sure.
I feel really strongly around that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, you know, depending who the person is, you know, if I, like you, we'll do it. I'll do it with you. That'd be fine.
That'd be great. Okay, so you're really in a place of major insight right now. So you're tuning into your higher power. You're tuning into your authentic. And I think right now it's like, you know, I don't know why the energy's coming in. It's like, it feels more around like a military ideal, like taking no prisoners. I'm just going to do this time. Kind of situation, which is so funny to me that would come in. But also, there is another card that came in that was really a little, well, luxury comes in. So it's wanting more for yourself and understanding that as far as financial situations are concerned, that you are looking towards a better future. And when the luxury card comes up, it's not necessarily that you want luxury per se, more than it instigates the situation of wanting a better life or maybe wanting a better situation. And so, you know, with that and that Ace of Swords card that I did pull, Ace of Swords can also, it can signify you being more on point with yourself as far as like self-love and self-discovery and self-evaluation. And I think that you're like your worst critic right now, but you're also your best critic, because not only are you understanding parts of yourself that need awareness, but you're also understanding that there's some fabulous parts of you that you forgot about. And so, that's a very strong and powerful thing, because the Queen of Swords comes in and it's you taking off the mask. It's you, you know, maybe taking off the dad mask and being a single guy, or, you know, taking off the manager mask and just being a regular, you know, employee. Or, I mean, not to say that would be the case, but I'm just saying that there is this transition of like, I don't want to be anyone other than myself. And then I'm okay with whatever that looks like, and I'm going to have faith and trust in a higher power that's going to bring that in, because I asked for it. And I feel like your prayers are being answered right now because of the abundance card. So not only is there luxury coming in, there's victory, and there's this part of you that says, I don't need to be deceitful anymore. I don't need to be, well, and I say deceitful, and I'm not saying that you're creating a deceitful behavior, but it's you being deceitful to yourself about who you really are and who you need to be. Right. Because I think that it's been a while since you've tucked in the character of Ralph to be the character of dad. And now you get to take the character of dad off, and you actually get to be your wholeness and Ralph.
I don't know, Dawn, I've been posting some Facebook jokes lately, and I'm told it's very much dad humor. What I think is funny.
It is, because that's the energy you've been sitting in, right?
Yeah, that's
for
true.
a long time. But what does that look like when you take that mask off and you become just Ralph?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the part where you're starting to find yourself more, and like, wow, I really like to do this. Wow, I'd really like to go, you know, purchase that, or I would like to really make a connection with this individual. And I think that's the part you're rediscovering yourself in so many ways, in the parts of yourself that you had to put away to be dad. And so now you've opened up the trunk and you're like, wow. You know, it's almost like when you move and you open up boxes and you're like, wow, I have that. It's almost like Christmas. You're getting to open up all the presents of something that you totally forgot about. And that's kind of how I feel like it's Christmas time for you, Ralph. It's time for you to start receiving all the many blessings that you are. And so I think
I did grow the white goatee, so I look a little bit like Santa on a diet. So I could just be my own Santa Claus.
Well, you know, you can always make a joke. Does this beard make my girlish figure look nicer? Or what do they say? You know, the girlfriend asked, do my eyebrows make me look fat? You know, it's just some ridiculous, redundant.
And you just don't say a word to that question. You just say, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so here's some stuff is like in the past you had some relationships that, well, I'm going to bring in some compassion here and let you know that there was some beautiful, beautiful love that you put out. But I don't think that it was too reciprocated the way that you needed it to be, because the people that you were connecting to in the past weren't in understanding of your love language. And that's why it created some hardship, and it made situations seem a little cruel at times. But that's okay, because even though that was going on, there was a part within you that was creating some interference around that and really holding your head tall and saying, I'm just going to go with this, and I'm going to be in acceptance, and I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to continue to go forward and have a great attitude.
Okay.
So I think that you were really, really diligent, and you were really, really self-serving in a way that really helped your healing through the process of grief. And so, you know, it showed the dark side of you turning into a lighter version, you know, really pulling yourself up from the darkness and saying, hey, I'm okay. I just have to know it's 555. So that to me is a lot of validation right now as to you transforming and moving into a new opportunity of abundance, of a new life, of challenging yourself in different ways that maybe you didn't in the past. And, you know, well, Princess of Wands, taking a risk. Just taking a risk this time and knowing that everything that you've been planning and the things that you've been liking in your life, well, it's brought you to this place right here, right now.
Yes.
And for that reason, you're the one that's your greatest fan right now. And that's what's inspiring this new discovery and this new life of better relationships.
Oh, okay.
Of better relationships. But also, you know, I'm gonna go like this. Okay, you see these people look like they're skinny dipping. No, and people go, debauch. Oh, what is that card? And I go, well, don't look at the debauch name. I look at it as coming together in a space with yourself that's comfortable, that's not okayed by anybody else but you. And for that reason, you got the universe card saying that everything's moving in your favor.
I like the previous card's interpretation of it being skinny dipping with someone much better, but I'll accept what you're saying.
Well, yeah, skinny dipping under the moon, under the stars, you know, that could very well be one of those situations where you're, well, the hot springs, clothing optional. Just
You're
saying.
opening it back up. Oh, thank God.
So, and this leads us into the very last card of Four of Pentacles. And if you see that, it says power. So you're moving into a higher state of your power because you're moving back to your childlike self, and you're rediscovering the things that you love and value the most.
Okay.
As this card. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would, I don't have any argument there. I've been struck by my own predilection for saying the most stupid, silly things lately. And, you know, that's just who I am now.
Well, and it's okay sometimes to just be that funny, vicariously energetic, childlike commentator.
Yes.
Because that really, I think it puts a twist on our life that's really good. So I'm going to pick a couple more cards from this angel deck.
And this would be, by the way, for anybody that takes advantage of goes to your website, remind me how they can get it, and I'll put a link in the video.
Okay, so it's intuitivehealer.world. And so you can go there and see a list of all of my services, and there's a little book now tab on all of the services on the service page that they can just hit instantly and go right to my appointment, book a reading right away. Or there are other options on there. I do energy work, like 3 different kinds on there, as well as doing certifications for people that are interested in being an energy worker and getting certified. So,
excellent.
Yeah. All right, so this is a fitting card. This is a really beautiful card to me because it is the angel Nathaniel that comes here. And look at what it is. It's passion. It means that what you're doing right now is all based on your heart, and you're very passionate about what you're trying to develop right now in your life. So between that one and the power, it's gorgeous.
I think I've got the music, sweet, sweet music in me. All right.
Oh, well, I'm glad, because here's the last one.
Oh my God.
It's the emotion card, and it's really funny because it's Fuel is the name of the angel. And the emotion card to me signifies a lot of being grounded in your emotions right now, because when we're passionate, we're at a higher vibrational system. And that passion within us comes up, and we get to experience emotions on a more balanced level. And so that's why I'm saying maybe I should pull one more. I'll pull one more. So I'm interested in that. I feel like you're pretty solid and you're pretty grounded right now emotionally.
I would say so. Yeah.
Well, seeing as what we're going through, joy. It's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Joy. So you're in your power, you're being passionate, and you're being joyful about things. And, that's Ramella. And she's a really strong angel because she comes in and she brings in the happiness where the person needed it the whole time. Okay. And, she's the angel that was sitting in the corner when somebody's like, I just want to be happy. And she's like, okay, here I am. I'm coming to bring you happiness and joy and all of this good stuff. And, I feel like she's the back burner angel, because she's like, don't forget about who you are. You're beautiful, you're happy, you're joy, you're love, so she's a really beautiful angel to me in that regard, because she does, she turns it around and she makes it happy and she makes it fun and inviting, instead of sitting there watching you. I just want to be happy, so she's a really good initiator towards happiness and truth, perseverance. She also is that angel that says it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be you, because that uniqueness is bringing joy to others as well.
Well, I think we all know you create your own. If you're going to be happy, you created it. It's not something externally given to you. So you.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you for this box of happiness. Oh, let me open it up. I should eat some happiness. Well, that could be actually pepperoni jalapeno pizza does count as provided happiness, but
there you go.
Internally, in a real way, you create your. You look at the circumstances of my life and everything that led to where I am now. It's externally, you're like, wow, that's one disappointment after another. Jobs that vanished, things that happened personally. But in the end, they all conspired to put me in a position where I'm sitting here in a great place and excited about what's coming and totally prepared. It's almost like You know, you look back at your life and everything that led to where you are now had to be there. Things are both bad and good simultaneously because they were bad, but they wound up, if you didn't go through it, you wouldn't be where you are now. So in the end, on a higher level, it was necessary and is good. I believe that.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And, you know, sometimes when we have that viewpoint about our own happiness and that we have the ability to create that experience, that things start to transform. Then we're not so reliant or codependent on somebody else to bring that happiness into us.
Right.
You know, we're not even in a place of expectations either. It's like I tell some of my clients, if you are sitting here asking me like, I just want someone to make me happy. Well, you're going to be disappointed over and over and over because really not anybody's responsibility to allow you to be happy other than yourself. And if you're giving that type of responsibility to someone else, they're going to let you down every time because it's your personal state of mind that you're the one that is the controller of that. You're the one that creates that in your life.
Exactly so.
Right. And so us giving that kind of responsibility over to someone and then stepping back and saying, okay, you're the one that's in control of my happiness. And if you don't make me happy, then I'm not happy. Well, I also feel like I don't think that I would buy a car and then say, oh, friend, I just bought this car. Would you like to drive it for me? And I'm not going to drive it. You can drive for me. Like, what's the chances of that person taking care of that vehicle? Probably very slim. What's the chances of that person wrecking your vehicle? It might be high, depending on how they drive. And so it's us handing the wheel over to someone else and saying, hey, can you do it for me, when it's actually your responsibility. So that's what I try to bring in there. And people say, but I just want him to make me happy. Well, you gave him way too much power and now you're not happy because your expectations were too high. And so that's really where we kind of fall short in our relationships, is giving that much governorship over our lives and not taking responsibility and governing our own lives for ourselves and for our own state of mind.
Right.
You know, I mean, and it's like good and bad experiences are going to happen, but it's all about how do you react to those things when they happen. Mm-hmm. I met a 100-year-old lady in a nursing home about 8 years ago, and a girlfriend of mine, well, Christina, my friend, was working there, and it was funny because you see all of these older people and some of them are doing well and some of them aren't. And it's all based around their attitude because everything's psychosomatic. What you think about, you bring about, and it has an emotion to carry it. Right. And so you see the state of your health vicariously through your attitude when you get to be that old. And so it really, to me, it really shows and it depicts that person's life as to what they chose in their life. If they chose to be a happy person, chances are they probably don't take much medication. They're a happier spirited person. They're not too demanding. They just are happy with life and they're happy in the present moment versus the people that are like, where's my coffee? You know, I didn't get my ice cream today. You know, and that's what you're hearing in these nursing homes. And you see that some people were raised in families that were that way, but some were actually not raised in families were that way, right, and ended up being positive anyways.
Yeah, we've all seen it. You notice people of the same age. You know, I have a good friend who is 12 years older than me, I think she is, and looks about my age. I think one thing that affects how you age is, are you excited about life? Do you have plans? Or the things that get you up every morning? Or do you wake up and you are resentful? You're like, oh my God, I was hoping to die in my sleep peacefully, and here I am with another day. Well, let's just get on with it. Okay, right. You're gonna age badly.
Absolutely, because you've chosen that. You
Yeah.
know, people don't realize that they're making choices for certain situations that come up and create this experience in their life. And you know, when I talk to people and I say, "But you chose that bad experience," and they're like, "You mean, no, how could that possibly be? I was in a car accident." Well, what was your mindset before you got in the car accident? And they said, "Well, I was scared I was going to get in a car accident." Well, there you go. You're the one that brought that experience in, and whether it be good or bad, it was part of your growth. And so it's really about how we react. You know, even like you're saying with the mask thing, it's like some of us are wearing masks and some of us aren't wearing masks. And it's a choice. Everything's a choice. And so we can choose to be unhappy, or we can choose to create our own happiness vicariously through our own desires and our own ideal system and the things that we enjoy in our life. And this life is meant to be happy, Ralph. This life is not meant to be sad. We're the ones that get to create that beautiful
Oh, no.
version of that
There you are.
beautiful
You froze for a
after.
second, but you're back. All right. I agree with you.
Okay. And so it's our choice to be able to choose happiness. And as children, we're not taught that. But boy, this paradigm is going to change and it's going to flip around, and we're all going to be able to choose happiness over these other experiences that we had in the past.
Very good.
So I'm excited for the future, and I'm excited for what's going to happen to you, Ralph, because I feel like you're going to be part of that new version of people finding their happiness. And I think that people are going to be honored with the fact that you decided to pull things up from the past and go for it. Write a book, inspire your life to be so much more positive and bring in those meaningful experiences. And I hope that your grandchildren are really happy about that someday.
Yes, grandchildren. Well, we'll just move on to the next topic.
Well,
Anyway,
the look on your face was a little mortifying there for a second.
So this is a pretty good example of what you do for your readings for your clients?
Absolutely.
Okay. Of course, we chatted a little bit beyond the reading, but
sure.
So
But
this
that's
is very useful, very insightful.
Thank you, Ralph. I appreciate it.
It's the kind of thing that, you know, so here's how I'll use something like this. And if I was one of your clients, how I'd expect them to use this. And so it really, the reading not only gives a little guidance to somebody that's paying attention, and, you know, I hopefully they will record it themselves, or they'll be taking notes so they can refer to it. But also it gives you a sense of, should give somebody a sense of confidence, of courage, if you're trying to do something new. Or let's say you're looking for a relationship, or whatever it is that the person coming to you is hoping to discover. They should be able to take that information and refer to it in their head as an act of affirmation. Say, wait a minute, what am I doing? Dawn showed me this card. I agreed. I felt strongly what she was saying was true. Hey, let's not doubt it now. Let's go back to it. In other words, stay on the path. Have the courage to stay on the path that you've chosen.
Absolutely. And I think too that people, they don't think that readings are one of those things that, you know, not everybody believes in readings, okay? But there's a lot more of an audience that is open to the possibility of something, okay? Right. And so as soon as they accept that energy exchange, they get to identify things within themselves that maybe they forgot about, just like you, Ralph. You know, sometimes I'll be talking about, well, you might, like in your case, you'll be writing a book. A person's like, wow, I didn't even think of writing a book. Oh, wait, but when I was 16, I thought about writing a book. And then it starts this rediscovery within them. Or you say this and this happened in the past, this behavior, and they're like, well, no, I corrected that. Okay, well, we're gaining awareness into that behavior. We're not here to judge you. We're here to love you through that behavior, but it's also being insightful about some of maybe the corrections that you need to look at within yourself to improve your life. And
Right.
so that's the biggest reason why I think people are really open to getting readings, is because they want to know a little bit. And in my case, I give you some future insight. I'm not one of those people that's specific on love or specific on career or relationships, but I am very specific about pulling up those parts of you that need illumination and bringing them to the surface and saying, look, you are wonderful that way. And then regarding it as like, wow, I am wonderful. You know, and just kind of showing them the beauty within themselves so that they can discover a bigger, broader life where they can bring happiness and more meaning into.
And oh, it's beginning to rain. We might have to end this now because, well, they're not going to fall. Raindrops aren't falling on my head, but they're falling on the ceiling, and the microphone is going to pick this up.